Hello, hello. Does it actually work again? Or can you see the screen, Anton? I hate this fucking scuffed shit. Okay, it works. Uh, okay, I guess I just can't stream my music. Whatever. Unfortunate. Okay, yeah, I think we're back. No music, but yeah. These YouTube policy guidelines, man. I'm even using YouTube Premium. Why can't I use the music? Like YouTube Music, so I'm getting scam out here. Okay. Quick ladder refresh while we're here. Did we overtake? No, still 20 behind. Why is Peter so fast? Yeah, you're gonna have to listen to your own music, sorry guys. I have no idea how to split this correctly and stream, I guess, two different musics. But I guess it should be fine. Yeah, I'm only streaming on YouTube now. I just set it up like an hour ago. Yeah. But now I think you shouldn't hear any music now. I've disabled the browser source, so should only hear the PoE sound, I think. Right. Ah, okay. Yeah. Yeah, okay. That works then. Yeah, I need to figure out how to do the I guess to stream to both to YouTube and Twitch and then fix the sound. Yeah. Yeah, I think some paradoxical setups can definitely work, but I think it would be on a I don't know, on a different setup just entirely and not live sticking. Yeah, we also have to use some different cluster nodes and yeah. I think the other viable setup, if you don't want to do the live stacking stuff, is the aura slash armor stacking on the guy, and then using a how's it called, Skin of the Lords with iron reflexes keystone on it. Since keystones actually do work on the AG, you just buff it with a Giga Grace and Giga D term. It's basically the same then as the Molten Strike Merc that we had. Yeah, a lot of people played it during the OG free share. It was very nice. It was a very nice build. Sadly, the Quiver corruption was so rare. That's the only thing that made it was a bit of a bummer, I guess, for a lot of people that you could really get the spell suppress cap easily. But that was the only thing I think that really wasn't that great about it. The rest I really enjoyed about the build. Oh, that's what I get. Not looking at the screen. Right, actually, let's go from the bottom. Yeah. Yeah. As long as you could fit all of the mediums, I guess just upgrading from 3 passive to 1 passive didn't really do that much. Since the only way you could really scale the damage was on the medium clusters. So yeah, it wasn't a complete endgame build. I would say it was a good medium mid-game to endgame build on like a, I would say maximum 2 mirror budget. But after that, it's just no, you don't get pretty much anything out of it if you invest more. That's why I played it for quite a bit. And then just rerolled away. I think I played Molten Strike. Yeah, that's always what happens sadly nowadays. If you have like, I don't know, say a little bit of a following, or your videos get like 1K views even. Some of the rarer stuff, if a few people copy it already, then prices will sadly go up. It's also one of the reasons I don't really like to, I guess I don't really like to stream my early game progress or whatever. Even for the league starting. I did a few of the league starting stuff. But if you do a league starter with some very niche items, then yeah. Yeah, the chest is crazy. Let me actually check. The garb. This one I was extremely surprised. Okay, it's 100 diff. But this one went up like crazy. I bought, yeah, 150, 100. I bought, actually 2. I bought the first one. I bought for 6 diff. And then someone posted a better one with some better implicits, a little bit better. For, I think 10. And I also bought that one. And then I resold my old one for 25. Since I didn't even start the build yet. Was just buying up some gear. That's crazy how much those spiked. I didn't really expect it. But yeah, that's, I think, all of the PoE softcore economy is just YouTube videos and streamers making stuff expensive. You see someone, the video Dreamcore posted about the infinite regen tech. The transfusion gem was 2 chaos, pretty much the whole league. And Dreamcore posted the video, and the gem, in 5 minutes, the gem spiked up to, I think, 50 C. Yeah, that's right, Anton. It's a bit shit, I guess. Because I would like to share some, I guess, more stuff. Or like share some stuff earlier, do theory crafting like with other peoples as well. But if just a few people are watching and the build is starting to look good even in PoB, then people are gonna start buying up stuff. And for stuff like the Crown of Ice with the ultimatum corruptions, the helmets is also a thing. That's just those things. Someone is using those and they instantly spike to 1 to 200 diffs, and they never go down again. Yeah. I really need to get better at this first weekend stuff as well. I think the last 5 leagues I've been doing blight farming in maps and then just doing some sims and then go to Delph. So at least sims are always pretty stable profit at the start with split versus. Oh, plus 1 helmet and an amulet. It's gonna be envy. Just complain and you get 3 div. That's not bad. What is the helmet now? 7, so 10 div. That's pretty good. And the second boss as well. I don't know if you've seen how much money Lance made in the first weekend, but he got, I don't know what exactly he did, but he was crazy rich on the first weekend. I think he had over 5 mirrors. Same with Chang then in the first weekend. In the first week, Chang's Waldo farming with his assassin was also crazy. 15 diff margins on the Waldo maps you can do every 10 minutes. Yeah, are you playing Connor's setup for the strength stacking? Yeah, those guys, that's unethical. I don't think that counts. Ah. Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, doing 6k in week 1 is insane. Also just from the pace you need to keep up. Because even, I know, I would say if you're going really fast consistently, then 70 depths per hour is good. And if you're doing 6k in the first week, of which I think he did again this league, I think he hit it during the first week, he needs to basically 100 hours of delving while also making all of the currency to actually put together the build, I don't know, 2 to 3 mirrors. But that's crazy, yeah. Some people, you think one is pretty good, and then some people like that come along. Yeah, that's also what I heard from. When was that? I think it was in Merc League when he first did this giga early. Oh, Elipen. Okay, can't thank Elipen Nova Slam. Low, Mr. K4. Yeah, I think in Merc League he did the first 6k Delve giga early push, and then what I know he was backed by a group because he had basically had full strength stack Sublime setup after like 2 days. So yeah, can't compete with that. My favorite Delve build of all time. From any build or from also from only the builds that I've played? Or made. If I'm... Yeah, the ones I've played... I would actually say either the Elementalist from Merc League, since it did have, I think, the most tankiness and damage. Just from a numbers perspective, it was the strongest build I ever played / made. From playstyle, I would say this build actually has been the most fun so far. Since it doesn't really care about any mods, I'm basically unkillable. And a lot of the other builds that I've played before had some weaknesses. For example, the AF Winter build also was very cool. From just the, I guess, the mechanics it has going around. But it was a little bit buggy and not that consistent at the end. It used some very janky tech to get enough damage for 6k. I think from general gameplay, this has been the strongest and also I think most fun so far. It just looks incredibly funny. The guy running around killing everything while you're basically FK in the middle of the node. So I've been enjoying it a lot. Yes, no hand pin at all. No, actually no holding down the button all of the time is actually very nice. And a lot of the previous like Molten Strike setups, I keep on like Molten Strike to numbered 0 and just put my phone on numbered 0 in the middle of the node for like a minute or something. So it was, I don't know, too annoying after like 10 hours of gaming to still hold down the right click all of the time. With 200 diff, yes. I would say you need roughly 100 diff to start any kind of setup on this. Hey, just putting the phone on the number hopefully won't get me banned. But yeah, 200 diff, Mr. K4 is definitely enough to get a setup going where you can actually do mapping and whatever comfortably. I would just do no Chaos Bloodline and just make a setup with, I don't know, a rare belt or a mage belt if you have it. And just play around with that. Only fossil nodes. I guess every single thing you click here is 12C. All fossil is not 12C or what? 8 point something? 10C, yeah, it's crazy. These fossil prices. But I'm very happy that it didn't end up being a Molten Strike build again this league. So that was one of my main criterias to not play Molten Strike again. So self-imposed limitation, I guess. Yeah, nice that the setup ended up good enough. I think the minion packed stuff is actually something you can also play in 2.6K this time. But I think the coverage of PV is just a bit shit. You need to move around. Yeah, the blue ground dot, you have to just move away. Up until I think like 2K, you could just still AFK and it wouldn't kill you and just despawn in time. But after roughly 2K, I actually have to dodge it. Yeah, the heavy strike scaling, I guess you do gain the helmet slot if you go spell damage scaling. Yeah, I can believe it that heavy strike is can outscale Zenith, but personally I've not played any strength stacking at all. I think ever actually. So yeah, I think strength stacking is just a bit, I don't know. Maybe that's an elitist take, but it's too cookie cutter for me. You always have the same. It's basically the same setup. You just swap the main skill. You have the same scaling from the boots, and yeah, it's a bit too boring for my taste, and just in terms of building it. Yeah, to be honest, the duality stuff, I've actually not even seen gameplay from it. Do you actually have to swap stands all like every 4 seconds, or you just ignore that part? I think you would have, right? Okay, yeah, thought so. I guess if you're not ethical, you can just macro it and yeah, swap macro it to click it every 4 seconds. So yeah, hey, as long as you're not streaming it, then I don't think anyone cares. I don't think GGG cares. There's been a lot more worse stuff I think done with macros in the past. So yeah. I don't know if you've seen the setup that Pillaro is playing on the Delph ladder. The Incinerate Chieftain. That's also a setup from me. I told him I'm re-rolling to something deep delve and he wanted to play something else as well. So I gave him that setup. I actually made it at last league already. That looks also very nice, but I think the damage is lower than this one. Yeah, the perforate. Maybe I'll have to try it. I've not really played any. The guy that's currently number 4 on the ladder. I think he's streaming as well. It's just basically the incinerator venting guy on Chieftain. But that's nice. It's actually Transcendence on 90 max res. It's incredibly tanky, but the damage isn't great. At least you need a lot better gear than he has, I think, to make it feel good. 2 helmets.
At that price?
No, it's not. It's actually using the skill gem, not with the desolation essence. Yeah, it's using the timeless jewel. But it's just capping actually max stress with chieftain from like the 60 and just playing mage blood ruby flask plus like 5 or 6 adorn jewels, which actually caps it back to 90 max stress. It's basically invulnerable to small hits. Usually you can take a exact ball and you take like 30 damage or something.
You've done well.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Transcendence. I think my guy stole some Broadwalker again, since he's currently fleeing. Sir? Thank you. It doesn't instantly die if you just wait 1 to 2 seconds. As long as you do that, it will survive. And you only have to do that after each load screen. So before you dash away, just link it. Basically, once you spawn after the load screen, you link it. 1 minute. No, you shouldn't have to wait 1 minute. You link it, then you come out of, for example, I can show you here. You go into a new zone. So we have load screen. And then we link it, and immediately the automation starts ticking. And since each tick is 7 souls, just after like 2 to 3 ticks with the damage reduction from the helm, he should already be basically invulnerable. So just waiting for 1 to 2 ticks should be enough for him to not die from the first hit. And then after like, I think he's capped after 7 or 8 seconds, so just make sure you have the correct corrupting fever and transfusion levels that I have basically. And to link him instantly. The dual wielding, I'm actually not sure how that works. I replaced my X yesterday and I just YOLO equipped it to him and he did not dual wield it. Yes, yeah, that's why. If it's only costing 200, you're only given 1 soul a second. Mine is costing 1.4k, so it gets 7 souls per second. So I would, depends on what build you're playing. If you're playing my build, you should also have roughly 1.4k cost. If you're playing something else, you need to look into balancing it with your recovery, I guess. But yeah, for the dual wielding, I have no idea how that works, sorry. I YOLO equipped it to him and it did work. And yeah, I was happy that I didn't have to buy another one. But I already swapped it 2 times and both of times it worked. It might have something to do with if you equip the shield to him first when you do it the first time. But I can't guarantee you that. The imbue, super important, no. The imbue is not super important. You can basically use any damage imbue that you can get your hands on. You can use any of the links that are currently in here. Pulverize is just the best, I would say, since it gives you AoE. If you don't get Pulverize, if you don't need the AoE, then I would get Meat Shield, but I think those are expensive as well. But even, to be honest, even the damage on full life, you say Spade, it's actually fine to get. If those are cheap, just get those. Since the guy is on full life a lot of the time anyways. I have no idea, Anton. I've not tried a lot of with it. So, and I can't remember what I equipped first on him when I did the initial setup. So, yeah, either test it in standard KP if you don't want to YOLO it, or if you want to be sure that you equipped it correctly, and if you don't mind paying for another ref bit, then just equip a two-handed weapon on him. And the two-handed weapon will override both slots, and then equip a new ref bit and a new X. And the ref bit should only cost like 4 diff or something. So, yeah. The profit in Delph is okay. It's not too great. I think, yeah, ref bit 2D with 6%. Yeah, then just equip a two-handed weapon on him and equip a new ref bit and equip a new X to be safe. That's what I would do. Yeah, profit in Delph is alright. I think you can make, I would say, roughly 15 to 20 diff per hour. It has a bit high variance, depends on the nodes you get and depending on if you do all carries or not. So, yeah, it isn't the greatest, I would say.
I can't do this just yet.
Nice. No problem. I think you need a second person to kill it, Anton, if you want to do like carries with not consuming it. So technically one can have, you can escort them and then leave and then kill it on a second account. I think that works. I'm not sure if you can do the, I don't think you can do the carry yourself with only one character and leave and they still get a bloodline. So I think actually the freest money is selling these all taxis as carries if you've got a friend, to be honest. Just find one all at like 200. Or like your friend finds one and then you just advertise on TFT all of the time and you infinitely run that single all for carries. And you just split the profit. Yes, if they kill it themselves, then it works. You can still do all taxis. You just need to basically escort them and they kill then the boss and then they also need to, they need to pay you then beforehand since you are locked out. But then the people you are carrying actually have to do the work. And those are a lot cheaper, so yeah, back in the days they did the all taxis a lot. Nowadays I think the price for just a taxi is 1 diff. And price for a full carry is roughly 3 diff. So yeah, I really want to set up the duo tech actually with a good friend of mine that's also playing PoE. Maybe I'll try that next league. Because you can do that with any character since the 200, every single character can kill it all at 200. So Depends. Yes, exactly. Traveling, you can sell the same all infinitely as long as you never kill it. The owner of the delve never kills it. The all is infinitely repeatable. And you don't get any boss loot. So just keep that in mind. You get no loot. You only have profit from the carry. And for the upgrade path, depends on your, I guess, current. What's your current status, KP? Hard to say in general. What's the best upgrade order? I would say easiest wins for upgrades is getting more mods on the weapon, probably. That's the upgrade you notice the most. So when you go from 3 link to 4 link, it's 30% more. From 4 link to 5 link, it's 30% more. That's the biggest upgrade you notice, definitely.
I can't do this just yet.
But I think there's quite a few people already doing that, Anton, on TFT. Because I see people spamming selling carries with the same all with full carry. So they have to have either they just multi-box a second account. That's also decently easy doable. But you need to actually level up a second account that has the all done. Yeah, I think quite a few people are already doing that. But yeah, pretty sure this is just completely free money. Yeah, just doing some delving right now. Yeah, I would say if you have the base setup going with some decent rares and other decent stuff and decent tools, I would say looking at the weapon is probably the biggest upgrade you can get yourself. Oh, this was a dead end. Yeah, one dead end. Yeah. It always hurts to skip some crystal spares, like 3-node crystal spares, but why go down and not sideways? For the bloodline, yeah. Easiest way is to do it on a white E1 map and just use the dueling scarab. Then you basically can't fail it. If you're not confident in a T16 ultimatum.
can't do this just yet.
It's not a normal corruption arc. It's an ultimatum helm only corruption outcome that you can only get if you corrupt a glimpse of chaos with the AoE corruption into a crown of ice. So it's not one you can get by just corrupting crown of ice. That's why the helm is also so damn expensive now. Since the supply is basically nothing. That's correct, you cannot do reflect. I don't think you can even do fizz reflect. Pretty sure the guy does on fizz reflect as well. If you want to make it like fully reflect immune, you would have to craft the ring with the essence mod and reflect that to 100%. I think that's the only way to reliably do it. Or drop the garb and give him a 100% reflect immune chest. How do you corrupt it into a crown? I think it's just a normal outcome. The Glimpse of Chaos can just be corrupted. And one of the corruption outcomes, I think, is that it changes into another random unique helmet. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. And then you have to be lucky to corrupt it with the correct implicit on the Glimpse of Chaos and then hit the Crown of Ice. Just with a Warlock, yeah. I actually wanted to upgrade to a Malediction crown for a long time, but the cheapest Malediction crowns are like 2 mirrors, and I don't really feel like spending 2 mirrors on an HE head for like 8% damage. But yeah, it's crazy RNG. You will need to profit corrupt those. Maybe it's a good gamble. Yep, getting the implicit is rough. I think it's 1 in 400 grands, I think, is the average rate. Roughly 1 to 3 to 400 grands to hit it. It is quite expensive. Yeah. I have to YOLO and hope it doesn't remove it fully. 11 CR is crazy. When I did it a few days ago, they were, I think, 5C. Then it was okay. And I didn't get too unlucky with it. But 11C is crazy. Like what, 15 diff for just implicit to hit it? Ouch. Yeah, to be just a unique one. Like what, it still is free, right? Should be fine. You probably won't even realize the difference. Before I uploaded my first video, I even forgot that it worked, and I ran just 2 strike gloves for all of the leveling. Yeah. Yeah, gloves for the animate guardian traveling. With the +2 strikes. Technically you want the pinnacle mod that gives +4 strikes. but it's very rare to roll. So what is this path here? Let's go. Yeah, it's nice. I mean, for my content here, it's pretty important since every additional strike is just more shotgunning on the smite for tankier stuff. Or I think just basic mapping with explode. You could probably get away with just running 2 or 3 for sure. But yeah, of course 4 is of course the best, but if you don't have the budget for it, even getting 1 is already such a big quality of life improvement compared to what you could do last league when you had to actually run the Soul Eater gloves. Pen Exile node, I think it's one of the rippiest nodes. Oh, fine. Cities. Okay, that's one all I'm not doing, I think. Nope. CBA the path there.
I can't do this just yet. Yes, a few moments. Nice, nice. Mr. Biggie. Yes, that's very nice, very good. And what budget are you on? What budget did you build it, brother? Holy, okay, nice, nice setup. Nice, nice. I mean, free mirror is basically everything, right? Do you have any still big things left, or got most of the stuff? Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's just a small improvement. You can also play around with other corruptions. Like maybe +1 power charge or something if that's pretty cheap. If you are looking for more single target damage. But yeah, the AoE is nice for clear. 5 mode multi-strike? That should still be. Should basically be the same damage. A little bit less. Yeah, gotta double check the price when you sell some expensive shit. I don't think I've ever done that. The biggest mistake I did was last week when I sold a Foulborn Ancestral Vision, and I picked the wrong thingy on the Awakening Surge with the Foulborn mods, and I sold it for 10 diff, and I think it was worth 60 or something. Oh, nice, didn't wait for the EG. So yeah, I think that was the biggest oopsie I did in trade so far. I actually did because you said less damage. I did I don't know what. I dropped the Baldo puzzle box yesterday and I just opened it and I got an Indus. And the map was doable. It was just normal Fiat with no mods, so no daily, no anything. And the AG actually, it one-shot, I think it one-shot Elder with one auto hit. It looks so funny.
Basically, you only have to look at crafting cost. If the crafting cost is plus the time, I guess, is below the cost of one log, I would just YOLO corrupt it. For example, the boots, I log corrupted because it took ages for me, so I don't know, essence spam the correct stuff. And I knew the implicits with the conflicts are gonna be more than a lock, so I log corrupted those. For the gloves, for example, I YOLO corrupted those because they, I think to craft them, it's like was 30 diff on average, and locks were over 50. So depends a bit on the piece, I guess.
I can't do this just yet.
And I also, for pretty much all, I used normal Varlops and not, because with temper, especially for, I guess it's important for ring, boots, gloves. With temper you can replace both implicits, and with normal vals, especially if you craft with gilded implicits, you have a good chance of only hitting either a single implicit removal or the gilded mod and not break any of the other implicits. So the piece would still be usable, especially on the unset ring. Since, for example, this is the prime use case for the gilded fossil. I hit the gilded mod here. Yeah, for stuff like for the weapon, for example, I'm pretty sure the only time you ever consider not lock corrupting the weapon is would if you are on like a free mod weapon, and then I wouldn't say you should even be on the corrupted item setup if you're only on a free mod weapon. So I think the weapon has to always be lock corrupting. No problem. Yeah, the shaper. True. If you do the shaper format, then yeah, probably I would not lock corrupt that one. You're correct on that. If you do the elder format, could make a case for and against, I would say. Yeah, unset ring just because of socket starved, because I don't have weapon and shield, and you don't have the chest. And you do need the 4-link setup for the transfusion as well, so not a lot of open slot for random stuff. Yeah, it can farm Valdos. It can comfortably, I would say, you can farm Valdos with one tank mod. So feared plus either Deli or feared plus less damage per item. I wouldn't play it if you want to farm Valdo maps that have both. So, and possessed, of course, with possessed feared. Yeah, double tank plus possessed is, I would say, a bit too inconsistent in general, since you need to fight feared for such a long time. It felt a bit too inconsistent for me. I did try 1 or 2 maps. It just wasn't really, I don't know, great. But for single possessed plus Delia something, it was completely fine.
Too long have I suffered.
Biggie, no, you don't need explode. On the Jewel, if you're mapping, I would run this support, Annihilation support. So if you're mapping, switch out probably meat shield for level 4 annihilation. And since how this support gem works with minion explodes, it's actually scaled by all of the support gems and all of the minion damage increases. The explode one taps everything. So if you're farming like Juiced Breach with annihilation in, the AG will one tap 3 screens at once with just one outfit with annihilation.
Check in with me when you have a moment.
Yeah, gem is really nice. Question on the budget. I think actually not too much. I would say you want at least an 87% adorned setup. So since you want the max res for the degens for the feared. Other than that, I think like the Shaper Beam or Shaper degens could kill you too quick if your damage isn't that insane yet. But yeah, I don't know. No, I would say like probably 500 diff or something setup should be able to farm the single damage possessed Valdo maps. Issue is the margins on those are not great anymore, since I think a lot of builds can do those. You get mostly like, I don't know, 2 to 3 diff margins maybe on those maps. And that technically is still a chance for you to brick the map if the AG dies, for example, in like a Zero's degen. So yeah, I think you would have to build it on. If you do that in day 1 to 3, then yeah, early league. Yes, if you play without the taunt, it's just lower HP and not 90 res. I did it before. I can show you now. If you can remove my taunt completely, and I would still be able to do Delph at this step. So it's just more damage and gives you more max res, yeah. Especially good versus degens, since that's the only weakness of the build, really. No. Yeah. Probably gonna see that the cold degen here with 82 max res is gonna completely decimate my HP pool. And this is even an Elipen node, so probably one of the harder nodes normally. Yeah, no difference. So just starting with a lower adorned, completely fine. Or even no adorned. And I think, I mean, to be honest, even if you can't afford an 87% one, just get a like 70% one. Even that still gets you free max res per joule. And then just run that for a while until you can upgrade. So, or even still run a lower adorned. Depends on your budget. If you don't have a reflected ring... Ah yeah, perfect answer. If you don't have a reflected ring, then just run 2 reflected rings, 2 corrupted rings. Do not corrupt the weapon. Only corrupt the weapon if you have a reflected second ring. And I would say a reflected ring needs to have at least... Not die. Wait. I would say at least a 2 mod reflect. Breakpoint should be 86 and 72% mark for life. for 12/13% life. And the 100% breakpoint is mostly for the max rest to go from 3 to 4. But yeah, at the start, just play with the non-corrupted weapon, get a second corrupted ring. Also, the second corrupted ring will make it easier to fix all your resistances. Especially if your rares aren't great. You can also craft a bit worse rares, settle a bit more on the res there and YOLO corrupt them. And then just fix your res with second corrupted ring and don't run minion attack speed. You don't need a bone ring then. So if you don't run a reflected ring, either run a second unset, run a vermilion, or even a 2-stone or whatever. Just something to fix your resists, basically. In 1 minute, guys, I will be back. Quickly go to the toilet and get some water. Alrighty, back again.
I can't do this just yet.
Avoid the tornadoes. Would you actually believe it if I tell you these swirly tornadoes are, I think, the second most damaging thing in Deep Dive? Besides just Gehenix. These things are crazy. At least you can block them. But it's pure fist damage, so it hurts a lot. Ooh, or left side? Probably. Mini city? No boss, sadly. What the hell is going on here?
I can't do this just yet.
Darkness farming, I'm not sure. I think it's... Yes, I think you would say it's viable. From what I read, people can get like, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 fossils maybe per node even. So you would get like between half a diff and 1 diff per node if you have long travel paths. But don't do darkness farming, sorry. I can't really tell you from first-hand experience. But yeah, it's probably fine since they buffed the fossil amount, and I think each fossil is like 110Z right now. But I have not tried it. I don't really like just running around not doing anything. More of just delving down, and most of my profit is from hollow fossils. And boss loot, I guess. I think I've opened a total of, I don't know, maybe 5 walls so far. And of those 5 walls, 3 of them did not contain any fossils. So I just stopped doing them again. That was at the very start of the league, or when I first started. Yeah, I don't know, I'm just not a fan of walls. Especially not on this build. Dissolution on darkness is kind of wonky anyways. So yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, Yeah, with the Pyroclast, issues that you just don't have enough damage anymore after like 1k. To be honest, I still think you can get some okay-ish profits, but I don't think it's comparable to if you would just, for example, like boss rush cigarette right now. You would just make way more money than delving at 600, yeah. Sadly. But yeah, can't do much about that. I did, however, like the boss rushing on the Paramines. I did a lot of cigarettes on the Paramines. Since you could just, no need to target anything, throw the mines in the middle for the Katarina fight and then basically AFK for like 2 minutes. If you filter out the most like deadly map mods, like the 300% Physis Extra and the 30% Pen, it was pretty much, you were basically unkillable. It was pretty chill. Did that for like 3 days, I think.
I can't do this just
Day
yet.
2 to 4. Hello, hello. Yeah, just for fun, I guess. Talking with a bit of people. Yeah, just rushing Katarina. Just for the fragments, basically not doing anything from the map. Put in the nightmare map and run to the boss, kill it, and put in the next map. Like 3 minutes per map. I think there should be around 25 to 30 diff an hour at the moment. Yeah, traveling that happens when you steal Broadwalker or the Trickster mod with the Headhunter, sadly. You need to either enter the map, so go to hideout and enter the map again, or just do the Mirage then, since on the Mirage he also resets all Headhunter buffs. And yeah, that's sadly the only thing that can sometimes happen in Brix's AI. There's not really a fix from that, except from not running the helmet at all, which I think is too good to drop. Yeah, just quickly going in and out of the map will solve it. Bit annoying. Yeah. Oh, -1 guy to the void. Riposo. Someone left. Approaching works basically like on a normal build. You reserve 20% less life and you lose the 20% actually to your real HP. So it's just a raw 25% less damage taken as long as you have enough regen to out-regen the progen damage on your real health bar. So that's Progenesis / Battlefield Blood is the only time you can actually take real damage to your real health bar instead of reserving life. Yep, that's pretty insane. It's also why technically Petrified Blood is also insane. If you just open up your POB and then put in Petrified Blood, it will tell you that it's 30% increased max hits. But since you are still reserving life, you kind of don't really get those max hits, so it's just fake in POB. But yeah. Technically, Petrified Blood is really insane if you can reserve it on mana, but you then are not on blood magic. So yeah, kind of don't want to do
A worthy opponent.
that. Nope. Basically only Flamelink duration. You can 100% drop the Runegraft if you're pressing it enough anyways. It's just a bit quality of life. And I'm not sure if it works. Maybe it works on the offering, but I don't think so, since the offering is on the AG, so yeah, it does nothing for the offering duration, pretty sure. Yeah, then just don't buy it, to be honest. At 9 div. If you don't have the money to just throw away, then you can definitely just upgrade that way later. When you're happy with damage and tankiness of your setup, then I would say then go for the quality of life upgrades. Okay, that's what I thought, Mark. Nice. So, since I think even if you're on Necro, right, it still doesn't say a duration, so I wasn't even sure if it worked on Necro. But yeah, would make sense, I guess.
I can't do this just yet.
Let's see if we can get a map. Mr. Wall Architect, please give me a map. Yep. Strength and ring is only 2 to 2 away more strength nodes. As long as you have enough strength to tattoo away everything inside the red dream, and you still cap your res with whatever extra tattoos you need for res, you can basically drop all of the extra strength on the ring. It's just more regen for the blood barrier. Holy. Technically, even with my new ring, I could recraft this one, since I don't need the 40 int anymore if I remove the int tattoos again. So technically with a reflected ring you don't need hybrid that's on the ring. But yeah, still it's okay to have a chaos res. It's not that big of an upgrade to do something else. There's not really anything else you can do. You can do one more res roll here and then maybe life regen on boots. It'd be, I guess, a little bit better. But yeah, not much difference. Oh, nice.
one more map. That is in the vines. Oh, hello, is the server? The EU servers are hitting. No. Nice instant. Okay, guess we hope for an instant that does not lag. Yeah, looks fine.
I can't do this just yet.
Where's this path again? Does it continue? Let's check here, I guess. The more likely for the rare ones really start to pick up after 600. Scales up to 1.5k. At 1.5k the rarity of hollow fossil nodes is at the maximum. So technically there is no benefit at all to delve below 1.5k if you're just looking at profit. But yeah, I think after 600 it's decently likely to see some when you encounter the biome. So when you see the abyssal depths biome, the deeper you go towards 1.5k, the more likely it is that instead of a smuggler's stash, it's actually the correct fossil fossil for the biome. Ooh, and actually, yeah, you're right. Smuggler's Stash ain't even that bad. Get like what? 15 fossils or something? That's basically one div. Or like nearly a div. That's not too bad. Probably, it should actually be better on average than all other fossil nodes other than hollow fossil. Since I think the others are what, 80C and Glyphix even less, like 40C. So smugglers should actually beat out most of the rest. For example, you see here, like I said, here's the abyssal depths, and the node here is actually a spire, so a hollow node. And also 2 minion nodes, I guess we're doing those as well. Maybe we get an aggressive wand.
I can't do this just yet.
Minion nodes are normally do 1-pointers, 2-pointers not really. But I do like to do the 1-pointers. Yeah, yeah. Definitely better than the Essence one. Those are really cheap this time. So rip one. Reset, oh good. No aggressive wand. No Spectre chest. Ah, nice. The Flicker Spider just one-shot the AG before I could link it. Ah, that also does happen sometimes. Not too often though.
We've made a trade.
The cold dot. Ah, should have moved further. That's my bad. Crazy tank, no red. Yeah, stress plus small life. And endurance. Where's the DPS? I think you can check that in-game. But you would have to check after every single hit you get with a free mod. Technically you can... Yeah, don't quote me on that. But I think if you hover your cluster, the order of the notables on the tooltip, not here, but on the actual tooltip, if you have it in the inventory, from bottom to up should be like on left, middle, right. So the one in the middle on the tooltip should be the one on the side, if I'm correct on that. Yeah, middle notable is in the back. So I think you can check that in game while you're rolling it on the bench. But other than that, if you're not confident, then just equip it, I think, every time you hit a free mod. And just, yeah, have to do a little bit of experimentation.
no wands again. Hello. And dann nehme ich mal Sulfat.
Are you bane or blessing?
Meine Maps sind at 3 at the moment.
We've made a trade.
I walk free, but the scar.
I can't do this just yet.
Ready yourself.
Yes. Mirror's moderation pretty sure works. Also, I'm very confident moderation works, but less buff expiration probably doesn't work since it's only on you. The thingy doesn't work. Wait, I'll here. That's the POV. I don't know how to set up the proxy like with YouTube thing. Right, next way. Better. Smiting. Not a spire. I guess what it will. Gotta make money somehow. Even if it's a spot. How was the weapon craft for this? Very, very painful. A lot of alt spamming, a lot of recombinating. So, depending on your budget, there are a few different, I guess, ways you go about the weapon craft. For a 5-mod weapon like mine, you need to do a lot of Awakener orbing and make 2 4-mod weapons and then recomp both 4-mod weapons together and hope you get a 27% chance to success for the 5-mod weapon. Depends a lot on your budget, like yeah, on your budget mainly, what kind of weapon you want to go for and how many links.
I can't do this just yet.
Start. Maybe you would need to go drop both. You could do
He could spec all 3 nodes on a large maybe mark. And do fractured vicious bite. And then run double block other notables. That's maybe the only way. I guess while we're here we can already do this. But yeah, it's rough, and you only get what, 4% more. Yeah, move away so quick again. You only get like what, 4% more spell block effectively, since you can't run Asadi anyways. So I'm not sure if it's worth going for full block cap if you're not running Asadi. Yeah, probably. Yeah, I would say you don't need the block. I don't know. I mean,
Can't do this just yet.
I cannot think of any content where I say right now my character needs 4% more block chance. So hits is not the thing I'm dying of. So yeah. It's basically only dots. If you can find a way to mitigate dots better, then that would be something that's worth exploring for sure. But hits, I think, is not the issue, for me at least at the moment. As I say that, I'm looking away and dying. I should really stop looking away at, as we're at 3 notes, there's always cold dot on these. Yeah, dots suck. Maybe I need to... Maybe it's actually worth speccing the Pantheon. Could really be an angle. Looks so funny when he steals the stunning mod with the headhunter. Just perma-stuns the whole screen. Now all appeared, I need to go up even more. I'm basically going backwards at this point. I thought you're supposed to go down. Surely this will be another helmet. Or Ultra String.
I can't do this just yet.
Less crit damage, Ellie res. Okay. Gonna take 10 seconds instead of 5. What's it gonna be, Mr. O? Ernak. Oh, that's not good. You have slightly tweaked mechanics. Good. A crown. +7. You have armors. Okay, go in. Yeah, it's not good if he's casting Ernak. That normally means you fucked something up on the mechanics. Another one to the void. Bozo. Sweet.
I can't do this just yet.
Yes, this guy I did. I thought I was like, yeah, this is so easy. I don't need the phasing boots. I can just get him phasing on an Abyss Jewel. I've put the Abyss Jewel in the gloves. I made the gloves, put the Abyss Jewel in the gloves. Clicked the AG thingy on the gloves on the ground, and he couldn't even equip him. It just did nothing. I don't know what is, but apparently you cannot equip him gloves with an Abyss Circle if there is an Abyss Jewel actually inside it. Yeah. So, I mean, I just used those, to be honest, and without the Abyss for quite a while. And then I recrafted ones with the Pinnacle later. Yeah, it is kind of sad actually that it doesn't work. Since you can't really get good like phasing from anywhere else. So, a bit sad.
That's the price you pay for learning. Next time you know it. Oh, sir. What the hell is going on here? Die. It's actually going nicely today, some good progress. I think it already did like 350 or something depth today. It's not bad. They barely started.
I can't do this just yet.
Quality free, not bad. That's good. You cannot automate Flame Link. You need to press it every 20 seconds. No way to automate. It's one of the 2 buttons you have to press, I guess, during normal gameplay. Flame Link and Offering. Other than that, you can chill. Try to get used to it quite quickly, I think. So it's just instinctive for me, I guess, to just press right click sometimes. And then if you click on top of your character, the chances are very likely that the Animate Guardian is on top of yourself from Convocation. So it's very easy to sustain it.
just yet.
Not all on the other side. How do we get there? I guess. Go up there. Could also see if it's connected. Probably not. Here. Yeah. Same, Mark. So I didn't use the special ones anyway, and I guess running 8 mods just got juicier. Without with chittles removed, and you get the baked in quant. It's really nice, and it's also way less struggle to just prep the maps. It's a really nice change. We will not die on this. I don't get why these essence thingies have to be so tanky. You die, sir. Thank you. It's actually my first league trying these Baldo maps for sulfate refilling. Previously I always did 8 mods and just did like 3 to 4 8 mod maps for sulfate. Just run to the nodes. But these are actually very chill. Cost like, I don't know what, 50C. And you get the full bar in half the map. It's just a lot less complicated. But a bit worse with buying. Let's see, got a number 1.
I can't do this just yet.
That's worth it. Crystal Spire next to the all as well. And free money. Oh, they had a triple spire here. Give me the money. good thing from delving, I guess, compared to some of the mapping content is all of the money is in like 5 items, so don't have to sell a bunch of random stuff. It's actually real currency, not 500 chromes that you're never selling anyways, probably. I guess that's also why I like boss rushing. Just sell the ether frags, and it's 95% of the profit. See if we can get a back-to-back helmet. Elite pen. Killing me. Nova.
I can't do this just yet.
Let's go on top. One helmet, please. Yeah, or fancy ring. Steve is also digging. I think I'm gonna do this bar, so like 5 more notes or something, and then I'm gonna stop the stream 'cause I'm gonna eat something. So if you have any questions or anything left, then feel free to ask them now. Other than that, you can also just message me in game if you have some later. No, I would still run Meat Shield. Feeding Frenzy, the only thing it does is bug out his AI more often. Meat Shield reduces the time how often it bugs out the AI if you don't have phasing on him. But feel free to experiment with it, so if you feel like it's better, then just go with Feeding Frenzy. But the thing I would try for non-delve is not running convocation automation. And instead, if you see him not attacking or
Do this just yet.
nothing is dying around you, then manually press convocation. I did that quite a bit during my leveling, and that felt actually the best of both worlds. So sometimes automating the convocate just makes him run around a lot, and the non-automated one just helps unstuck him when he's stuck for some reason. So maybe try that. Yeah, exactly. If you're killing bosses or only boss killing, I would not run convocation or automate. Yeah, just let him do his thing. And whenever you feel like he's doing too much useless stuff, then just convocate him once back to you, and then especially on stuff like Ubers, if you're actually dodging stuff when you're running away and then suddenly you convocate him back, just sucks for your DPS uptime. For the Annihilation and Greater Ancestral Call, Annihilation, yes, I would 100% run Annihilation if you're doing mapping. So just remove any other support gem, like Ellie Focus or, I don't know, whatever, Meat Shield maybe. Run that. Ancestral Call does not work on minion skills. So Ancestral Call does nothing. Yeah, it cannot support minion skills. And for crafting the for crafting the Shaper Elder, you need to alt spam. Okay, let me quickly explain the 5 mod. Basically, the goal is this weapon, right? You need Shaper Elder. What you want to do is craft prefixes with recombs, and then reforge crit for the suffixes, and then recomb at the end. So you start out, you alt spam swords for, you alt spam maces, one-handed maces with a maximum strength requirement of 191. Why maces? Because mace is the best base. Or the easiest base to alt spam. You alt spam elder weapons for the Ruthless mod. And you alt spam Shaper weapons for the more damage and the elemental damage. What even is it? Tree Sula? Sorry, I don't even know what that is. Mace is only because of the weights for the modifiers. Mace has the lowest amount of mods. It has the easiest to roll to alt spam. And once you have the Ruthless and the more damage / elemental damage with attack, you recomb, you awaken an orb, those two together. And then you have you need to clean the prefix then. If you get a third prefix, you need to clean that. So you have a clean weapon with Ruthless plus one of the 2 Shaper mods. And then you make the same thing with Ruthless plus the other Shaper mod. And then you recomb those 2 together, and you hope to get basically these 3 prefixes on the recomb. Once you're done with that, then you prefix lock and reforge crit. It is a 1 in 4 chance to hit either ink crit or crit damage on the reforge. So just reforge, and once you have hit one of those, you have a format weapon. You can either then use this format weapon, which is nice, or you make a second format weapon with the other crit mod. So prefixes are done in the exact same way. Suffixes, you just reforge crit again until you hit the other crit mod. And then if you have those 2 weapons, so both have the same prefixes and 2 different suffixes, nothing else on the suffixes, you need to make sure that this has clean suffixes, then it's a it's a 27% chance recombing those two together to hit this 5-mod weapon, basically. And and then you're done. Just craft minion attack speed, cast speed, and lock and Valda weapon. That's basically how you make a 5-mod. To make this for the alt spamming, I would settle on level 18 or level 20 Ruthless. Level 16 is probably a bit too bad, since the rest of the craft is not cheap. For the elemental damage with attacks, I would only use level 20. Actually, using level 18 is already like 2% less or so. The type of base weapon does not matter. That's why we use one-handed mace, because it's the easiest to alt spam. So just use a one-handed mace and make sure the strength requirement is below the strength requirement of the Chaos Heart, so you don't need more strength than necessary. This is also why my weapon, for example, is on this base only because I bought this weapon. And I had to use tailoring orbs for the 40% reduced attribute requirements. Otherwise, you would need 121 dex for this weapon, which I don't have. So, very important to use a weapon or use a base that you can equip without preferably tailoring orbing it. And yeah, Anton, I guess the dagger implicit would do something, but I think it's just harder to roll, and your crit capped, your block capped anyway, so don't really see any reason to use dagger instead of mace, to be honest. I think mace made the most sense. When I crafted my format, I used the mace. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's pretty. Yeah. I think the prefixes and the suffixes are harder to hit if you are running anything else than a mace. But yeah, feel free to check Craft of Excel. But I just quickly looked at it because I was thinking about to a craft claw, to a craft dagger, one-hand thrusting or normal sword, and from the weights I checked, mace was just better. Issue is, yeah, with the mirror service weapon is you cannot corrupt it. Arc. Since I need my weapon to be corrupted, I cannot use one that is for mirror service. I would have to buy the original one and corrupt that. But yeah, that is one of the last upgrades I can still do, is make one of the 6-mod weapons myself and actually corrupt it. Technically, if you don't have the reflected ring, you could just mirror a weapon and run a corrupted ring. But comparing mirror weapon plus corrupted ring to corrupted weapon with 5 mods and reflected ring, the corrupted weapon wins out actually by a few %, but it's pretty close. Yeah, if you have 2 corrupted rings, then technically you can mirror a weapon. But actually, if you mirror it, then mirror the one with multi-strike. The multi-strike weapon is way better than fast attacks. You just don't run greater multi-strike then, run another support gem, and it's I think 8% better than the fast attacks weapon when I PUB'd it. So definitely don't run fast attacks. Why do I always look away on Ezra 3 nodes? I need like, I don't know, something that screams at me when I have the code debuff on me from the plot. Do you have the helmet equipped, Mios? You need to have either the helmet equipped or you need to have spec the minion defense mastery that allows you to cast link skills on damageable minions. One of those two.
I can't do this just yet.
Nice. What Uber are you doing? All good. I was confused at first as well when I tried to link him and it didn't do anything before I equipped the helm, just for testing stuff. Especially for leveling when you can't equip the helmet yet, you actually need the mastery if you want to level with it. Okay. Guess that has... Does Neglect have phases? No red. Yeah, just delete. I'm always confusing the free. What does Neglect drop? From the free new ones? Ah, okay. Ah, you're basically only firing for Ezreal. Ah, okay, okay. Makes sense. Guess that's why the frags are cheap then. Guess there's zero investment. I guess you could pick up the uniques and dust them. It's somewhat useful. Should already all be like 50k at least, I would assume. Dust. Ah, okay. Bounce work, yeah. Are bounce actually even worth much this league? Since the int percent was like 60 diff last league, right? I guess that's no longer really used. But I guess the strength one is used. I would assume it's like a few diff unedited. One or two.
We've made a trade.
Do you seek my wisdom, or only my suffering?
I'll let you know.
Okay, that's not bad. Wait, I can kill one neglect. Okay, we can compare kill time. I don't even need lonely fragment. Only 20C actually. Okay.
I'll put the word out.
My
Look, Father.
That's this guy.
Beautiful.
Not now, Zana.
Okay. Perhaps.
And shit, I
later.
don't have desecrate, so no offering.
Never came. Patience is a mercy.
Didn't really take too long.
Madness.
But I have no offering.
I guess.
I've got some wealth for you.
Yeah, makes sense. How's the stash looking? 450 divines. 31 hollow fossils. It's not too bad. Need to find something to gamble on again. But access feel like kinda despair. Maybe it's just time to save up for next build. Yeah, but I think I'm for now gonna go eat something. Yeah, if you got any more like build questions or anything, just feel free to whisper me in game. I'll try to reply. And that, guys, thanks for watching. Hello, Mr. Streamer. No, Mr. Carl. We will not do the quad tab of access. Not today. Yeah. See you guys. Bye bye.